US President Donald Trump announced his plans to take over and own Gaza.
The American Secretary of State made his first trip to Latin America last month and threatened to take measures against Panama.
How differently will China engage with the Trump administration over the next 4 years?
It could be one of the most informative press briefings held at China's Two Sessions annual political event, with more than 500 international journalists in attendance.
试想，如果每个国家都强调本国优先，都迷信实力地位，那这个世界将倒退回丛林法则。
Foreign Minister Wang answered 23 questions, and among them, 9 questions mentioned the United States, whether it's about Trump administration or its protectionism policy. So yes, this is a press conference about China's diplomacy, but it's also a press conference about how to maintain a healthy China-US ties. But why the United States?
About 2 months ago, the United States ambassador in Zimbabwe came out of nowhere to attack Chinese enterprises in Zimbabwe. So we are used to this.
The United States are putting a lot of pressure on our region, on the Latin America region.
And we understand that this is a very relevant issue. The China-US relationship will always affect the rest of the world.
Since President Donald Trump returned to the White House in January, his administration has taken an American-first approach, threatening a new round of trade wars against multiple countries, including Canada, Mexico, and the European Union. New tariffs of 10% were imposed on Chinese goods in early March, the U.S. says, over the country's fentanyl crisis. The consequence, U.S. stock markets tumbled amid the mounting concerns and uncertainty.
美国应该复盘一下，你们从这些年的关税战、贸易战中得到了什么？贸易逆差是扩大了还是缩小了？制造业的竞争力是上升了还是下降了？通膨是好转了还是恶化了？民众的生活是变好了还是变糟了？
Beijing accused Washington of taking a two-phased approach, seeking good relations with China while suppressing its development. Such tactics are similar when it comes to the Ukraine crisis.
You don't have the cards right now.
Washington opted to reach a deal with Kyiv, but ignore the security guarantees that Ukraine demanded. China's stance on the crisis has been objective.
安全是相互的，也是同等的。一国的安全不能建立在别国的不安全之上。
Since the beginning of the crisis, China has been advocating settlement through dialogue, while the U.S. fueled the conflict by providing weapons to Ukraine.
决议草案获得通过。
In late February, the United Nations Security Council, with China presiding, adopted a U.S. draft resolution calling for a swift end to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. China and the U.S. could reach an agreement when it comes to peaceful development.
China and US is the major power in the world right now, especially the economic growth.
I'm looking at how China, US can bridge their differences.
Where we are not competing with each other, but saying, how do we build the world together?
Globalization is an irreversible trend. Foreign Minister Wang mentioned the Global South in 8 responses to journalists' questions.
It is very important for the Global South countries, the BRICS countries, and the Latin America countries to maintain a partnership with China in these disturbing times of the geopolitics.
How do we promote an eco-global order? China's answer is to build a multipolar world. This year's government work report stressed China's commitment to an independent foreign policy. So what's an independent foreign policy? Regardless of how the international landscape changes, China's philosophy remains unchanged: to build an inclusive world based on mutual respect. A big country should honor its international obligations. A healthy China-US relationship meets the world's expectations and benefits the interests of the entire international community.